Coming up on Mountain News at 4:30, local police giving us an inside look at how they train to handle a wide variety of emergency situations. Plus, the Senate has finally unveiled its bipartisan border security compromise, the major changes it would make, and why election year politics could impact its passage.
Plus, enjoy the sunny weather because changes are looming later this week. Your first alert forecast coming up as Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Keeping the community safe is a police officer's #1 priority, and while preparing for the unimaginable situation seems daunting, police departments across the Commonwealth are using a tool to ensure they are ready for whatever call comes their way. WYMT's Olivia Calfee has more.
Proper training is crucial for every police department across the Commonwealth, and that includes the police department right here in Hazard, where they say they've been training through simulations to put them into emergency situations to ensure that they are prepared for every situation.
Basically, Kentucky League of Cities has brought us this system. That's where it comes from, and all the Kentucky League cities in the state have this training. They get this simulator at least 3 weeks out of the year to train their department.
And there are simulations for many different situations that these officers could go through, from a general traffic stop to a movie theater shooting. But I will have more from the Hazard Police Department coming up in just a little bit. For now, I am reporting in Hazard, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
The department only has this kind of training 3 to 4 weeks a year, so they say when they have it, they aim to use it as often as possible. The Danville community is remembering the life of a police officer who recently lost his battle with cancer. Officer Aaron Russell Sparks was an 8-year veteran of the force and a U.S. Army veteran. His battle with cancer began last August. His fellow officers say he worked right up until he simply could not work anymore. He died Friday morning, and later that day, numerous police officers took part in a procession as he made his final trip home from the hospital in Lexington. People he worked with say Officer Sparks had an amazing way with folks.
You know, the guys could look to him and see that that's the way we should be. We should try to be like Sparks in a lot of ways, not only physically but mentally. He embodied what it meant to be a good police officer.
A celebration of life is being planned for 6 p.m. this Thursday at the showroom in Danville. Visitation will take place at 4 p.m.
Well, the weather doesn't get much better than this for early February. We are tracking some mild conditions, also some sunny weather. Here's a live look from Laurel County from the London-Corbin Airport. Not a cloud in the sky over at the airport. That current temperature up to 61 degrees. We should be in the 40s, so we are well above average on this Monday afternoon, sitting at 59 for Jackson, Hazard, also Irvin, 61 for Somerset, also London, 63 in Harlan, 64 over in Middlesboro. So we are tracking some very nice weather as we go into this evening. Up on the radar, we are dry, all thanks to high pressure sitting over Nebraska, also Kansas. And as high pressure stays put, more dry weather is on tap as we go into tonight, also by Tuesday and Wednesday. So be sure to soak up the sunshine, also the warm weather on Tuesday, Wednesday, because we are tracking a little bit of a pattern change as we go into late Thursday, also for Friday and into the weekend. Some more spotty rain chances are possible as temperatures stay above average, more 50s and 60s on the way later on this week. Your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thank you. A bipartisan Senate agreement with the White House to get a grip on the southern border faces stiff opposition from conservatives in the House. The bill would overhaul the asylum system and give the president new powers to expel migrants, but it's all tied to other national security interests. CBS's Natalie Brand explains.
Senate negotiators are touting a bipartisan compromise to try to secure the southern border.
These are powerful new tools that allow any administration, this one and future administrations, to actually gain control of the border.
The newly unveiled bill would give the administration new emergency authority to shut down asylum processing between ports of entry, allowing immediate deportation before asylum is requested. That would happen when migrant encounters reach a daily average of 5,000 over a week. It also ends catch and release policies and speeds the asylum review process for those who are not deported.
If we had this law in place right now, the border would be closed and we would say, no, it's got to be an orderly process.
The bill also includes $60 billion in aid to Ukraine and another $14 billion for Israel, plus humanitarian assistance and other support.
If enacted, the bipartisan compromise would be the first major update to the nation's immigration system in more than 3 decades.
Muzaffar Shishti, a senior fellow with the Migration Policy Institute, says election year politics could complicate the bill's passage.
The extreme right and the extreme left may actually be responsible for the demise of anything that happens here.
Former President Trump has already come out against the bill, and House Speaker Mike Johnson said it's dead on arrival in the House.
If it passes the Senate, what is your message to House Republicans?
Yeah, my focus has been let's get something done. But the worst case scenario is just to keep the status quo on it, because every American, regardless of political party, looks at it and says this is chaos.
A test vote in the Senate is expected as early as Wednesday. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
A trial date has been set in a blockbuster antitrust lawsuit against Google. According to court documents, the trial between the Department of Justice and the tech giant will start September 9th. The case targets Google's economic dominance in online advertising during the past few years. This is the first antitrust case against a major tech company during the Biden administration. Paleontologists at Mammoth Cave National Park in western Kentucky revealed 2 fossilized shark species that are new to science. Both species lived around 340 million years ago when Kentucky was still a tropical sea. With the help of the nation's leading paleontologists, more and more fossils within the cave system have been identified in recent years, and researchers expect that even more are on the way.
Before 4 or 5 years ago, we had absolutely no idea that we had all of these exciting sharks and that so many new to science, and that Mammoth Cave would be able to be one of the most important shark localities from, about 340 million years ago.
More than 70 ancient fish and shark species have been discovered within the park, and more are still under review. Coming up on First at 4, the Super Bowl is one of the most popular times to buy a new TV. We'll share some tips from experts on how to pick just the right one.